Hi, we just completed our Oliver Button concert last weekend. We did 4 shows, and there was a number of us guys from Heart of America Men's Course that went to Kansas City, the Heartland Men's Course, to see Oliver Button. And we all kind of made it our mission. We said, God, it would be really nice to do that show in Wichita. And so I kind of took the bull by the horns and we did it. It was very expensive. The first things that we had to realize was the rights were really expensive. And Deanne said we need to get the rights lower. So I negotiated with the publisher of the book and the composer Alan Shorter and negotiated it down to a reasonable price. And then we were able to get the royalties paid for, and then we got the music and we started rehearsals. We also worked with Arts Partners here in Wichita, a local arts group that supports the arts within the schools. And then we also worked with USC 259 to get a curriculum written for pre and post of the show for the students who attended. And then we sent the emails out through the school and through Arts Partners newsletter, and we had a sold out show on Thursday, and we probably touched about 800 kids Thursday through our message with Oliver Button.
And it was kind of an instant gratification for us,
Yes.
right? Because we automatically, right then and there, saw people being impacted by
Yes.
the show. We saw children
Crying.
crying.
When we, after the show, the first show, a couple of basses on stage right said, I heard some kids crying. And my class, I'm a teacher, and so they sat on the floor near the stage. And I have had 2 students that were bullied, and the emotion really came out through that. And then Brent said over on stage left, he had seen a girl that was crying from another school. So right then, you're right, Randy, we touched children right there because the emotional level came right out. And I think a lot of what Oliver had to say struck a chord with kids.
Yeah, I think that the thing that touched me reading the story for the first time and with the music involved and everything is like there wasn't an aspect that Oliver went through that I think that most of us didn't go through at some point in our lives growing up.
I agree.
Whether it's with the baseball or the dancing or the being a sissy or whatever.
The jumping rope.
Jumping rope. I did it. Yeah, a lot.
Yeah.
So
It was safer to stay up close to the teacher and jump rope on the concrete than go out into the field and possibly have a bad experience out there.
So after the concert, did you have much feedback from your class? Did you talk about it in
my
class?
kids talked about it a lot when I got back. We talked a lot about bullying, and they spent the afternoon with a sub who was, by chance, happened to have a counseling degree. And so she worked with them and showed them some videos and did a student handbook and things like that. And so I asked them, did you like the show? And they're like, yeah, we liked it. And they liked the musical part. And of course, anytime you do something with children and music, they really can relate. And so they really enjoyed it. And then I had read the book earlier, and so it was a great review for them to come back from August to March to talk about it again, because it's a year-long thing. It happens all year.
It
So-
doesn't stop.
Mm-mm.
It doesn't stop at all. I mean, even in the summer times when kids are at home and not in school, there's some hard.
Yeah, and I think that I teach second grade, so therefore, probably not in their lives yet, but 5th grade and up, with the social media, it really never stops.
Never stops.
Even though school is out over the summer, you still have kids being bullied and teased and picked on through Facebook and Snapchat and whatever else
all
is
of
out there.
those
Mhm.
millions of different
Mhm.
social media.
And I think all of us around this table can relate to Oliver, because I know I was bullied. I was picked on as a kid because I was not good at football or basketball. And, I was more into the arts and music. And I know Al shared earlier about his experience.
Because I was more into the culinary arts and the fine arts. I played the
Mhm.
piano and the violin and the bass guitar and sang. And
And you grew up in Oklahoma in a rural setting also, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
probably not a lot of, you probably kind of stood out from a lot of the other kids.
Oh yeah,
maybe.
probably a little bit.
A little bit, yeah,
Well, and I mean, I didn't mention it in my testimony during the performance, but I mean, my older brother played a little bit of a role in that, and he and his friends would tease me and give me a really hard time. But it had already started before he even started. It started back in 6th grade, and went into all the way through college, as I mentioned. And
did that play any kind of a role in what you chose as a career choice?
I think it played a little bit of a role. That wasn't initially what I was going to go into, but I think it definitely played a role once I kind of saw the impact of what I could do in the school setting.
Did any of the kids from your school come to the performance?
Unfortunately, no.
No.
So USD 259 was just so late in getting this promoted that I wasn't sure if they were going to be able to go or not. So
Right.
I didn't push it like I wish I would have.
Yeah.
But I would love for us to go to my school and actually perform it next year.
Yeah, I'm hoping we can do that.
If we can.
Right.
So, but I'm just glad, I mean, all the feedback that we've already been receiving via emails and phone calls and things like that, I mean, it's obviously made a big impact.
Right, it certainly did. I know it touched me deeply, just the show in general and everything that went along with it, and noticing the differences with how kids are bullied today compared to the way they were when I was growing up.
Well,
you know, I was able to go home and escape in afternoon movies and TV and all of that sort of thing, and the love of theater kind of blossomed from that. And I was probably saved a little bit by being in music where I grew up, because that at least gave me, I guess you would call us kind of the glee group of the late 60s, early 70s. But that really is a very real thing that goes on. You know, maybe we were a little nerdy or whatever, but that was our safe spot, you know, growing up. And I guess it's not that different now. So.
I don't see that it's different from when I was growing up in the 70s and 80s to what it is now, except it's worse.
Yeah.
But the
It's-
nice
it's
thing
more
about what
brutal.
I think is that we have resources and we have people that will help, and we have school districts who I know where my children attend school in the May School District. There's a bullying report right there on their school website that a parent or a student can fill out, and they have zero tolerance. ESU 259 has zero tolerance toward bullying, and so you know they take it very serious.
Your own children all got to see the show, right?
Mhm.
And did it impact them?
It was when I did my testimonial Sunday, it was very scary because they had not heard that side of my life. I never shared that, and they were shocked. Like, I didn't know you were picked on and bullied, and you know they just never put two and two together to figure that out. And they all three of the four that saw it just were shocked. They go, that's terrible. That's, you know, we never do that about you. But, you know, how as a parent do you share that? So
That's a pretty brave move for you to share that, not only in front of an audience like that, but in front of your children for the first time, all at one time.
So we had a long family talk about it, and I asked them, have you guys ever been bullied? And, you know, they said, no, we haven't. So, which I was very thankful for.
That's great.
Well, this was my first experience with the show, because I didn't get to see it when we were in Denver. So I didn't know a lot about the show. I just heard what you guys had to share. But it touched me deeply. I mean, I wasn't really bullied a lot in school. I was kind of the geeky one, but kind of kept to myself.
Were you quiet?
Yeah, didn't have a lot of friends in school. Didn't associate with a lot of people. I just kept to myself and did my own thing. And you know, I had a few people that picked on me now and then, but it wasn't anything real serious. But the show was just had a huge impact on me personally.
I had several guys come up to me in the beginning going, all we do is ooh and ah. I really don't care for this. And I said, give it some time. Give it some time. I think you'll like it once we put it all together. So the first night that we ran through the whole thing.
Total difference once you get Oliver in there.
Yeah, we had
Yeah.
Oliver in there, and we had all the guys, and Deanne pulled us all the way through it, and there were a lot of guys that had a lot of tears, me included. But I was like, ooh, this is hitting a nerve.
Well, Pancho did such an incredible job
Mhm.
with the role also, and I don't know his personal story, but I have a feeling, as deeply invested as he was in the show, that it came from somewhere deep inside his own personal experience, which makes a huge difference.
Yeah.
I agree.
I really didn't feel emotional about it until that first night that we did it all the way through with Poncho, and then I found myself tearing up.
Yeah.
And, you know,
And I
it's
think
like the
that's-
whole thing finally came together, and the meaning and everything was there, and it was just.
That's what stands behind the men's chorus choral movement worldwide is music touches people, music is powerful, music can change. And so I think all three of those things, aspects of, that's why I sing, is because through this music, we can make a difference.
Music
And
is a universal language.
it is. And I think, Heart of American Men's Chorus has done some powerful concerts in the past, but we haven't in the last couple of years, and all of a sudden we've done one, and boom, everybody's thinking, everybody's reacting. And so I know when we did Sing for the Cure, that was very powerful to a lot of our members. But, again, this one kind of hit home for a lot of people, and so I think that's why we're not ready to let go of Oliver.
Yeah, that's
And-
why Sunday was so emotional for me,
Mhm.
I know, as I wasn't really ready to give it up at
Mhm.
that point.
Even after we did it 4 times.
Right.
Yeah.
For our audiences, and that was great, every time, every single time.
Well, the thought of taking it out, I hope that we do have the opportunity to take this more places and share the message.
Mhm.
I actually come from a different perspective here because I really never was bullied much, other than brother bully. Grew up in what they called the Henderson clan, 2 older cousins and an older brother, so you really didn't mess with the Henderson clan, or you were getting it from all directions. And an uncle who's a cop / sheriff now, so
You were kind of safe.
yeah, I was, but it was still really emotional for me. And I was telling Randy in the hallway during the interview earlier, I feel like it kind of was a bitch slap in the face, honestly, like how it pulls out like that I've probably been a bully sometimes, and still maybe am sometimes because everybody is and just doesn't realize it, because you totally don't think of all the different ways to bully. So
Or just a rude
trying to
comment.
better myself also.
Rude comment, or
Yeah, you don't
a
think.
dirty
You
stare.
totally don't think.
You don't
It's
even
not
think
just the
anything about those
physical.
things. No.
And people do.
And we
kinda
forget about
tend
those
to-
things.
Yeah, the mental and emotional, the verbal abuse is almost worse than
Mhm.
the physical. The physical you can usually get over fairly quickly, but the scars, the emotional scars last a lifetime.
And the way people are brought up now, it's just second nature. You don't even think about it being bullying.
Well, I think it's had a great impact on all of us, and, I hope this blog and these stories help others, and know that there are resources out there. You just need to ask someone, a trusted adult or someone to help you.
And hopefully it'd also be more willing
Mhm.
now to reach out their hand and
Mhm.
not tolerate, and teach their children to be respectful and to embrace those that are different and treat them with respect.
That's all you want. Good deal.